Clark at the new Matt Clark. How are you today? I'm great. It's a beautiful Sunday. I'm hanging out with my girl. The sun is out. The beautiful big white clouds in the sky, and just an amazing day, day off work. Actually looking forward to going back to work, as I always do by this point. But, I wish I could sleep in a little bit more. I've been up since 6 o'clock. But, when you get in that structure and that routine, that's what happens. So today, I want to bring it back and talk about something a little lighter. I think that the topics of conversation have been a little serious the last couple of days, so let's get into something a little bit more light. Now, before we get into that, I want to speak about when you go into prison, you have to get into the gym. This is important, I'm telling you. You're in there with guys that have been there for years, that are warriors, that have been training, that have been preparing for fighting every single day. So you cannot go in there vulnerable and allow yourself to get fat, out of shape, smoke too much. You need to be able to defend it. Now, me personally, I did minimum 30 to 45 minutes a day on the bag, hitting, doing bag work. And then I would do calisthenic workouts and weight workouts. Sometimes both in the same day. Sometimes I just switch it up. But every single day I'm doing probably 2 hours minimum. So this is something you need to do because it's important. Play sports, get your lungs up, get your cardio up, because nothing is more dangerous than getting in a fight in a prison and the person that you're fighting is super tanked up, gassed up, and you are out of oxygen first 30 seconds, because not everybody's going to be a gentleman and let you get up. So you need to prepare for that and keep that in mind. So now this is a story. I was in Fembrook. Anybody who doesn't know Fembrook, it's what you would consider kind of a low medium. It used to be a really chill place where you could just kind of roam freely. You live in an apartment, 9 people live on your range, you cook your own food. There's actually a grocery store in the jail, and they don't make line food. So everything you make is homemade, and it's just a comfortable place. But in the last few years, they've had to put more serious cons there because they've shut down a couple prisons. Joyceville, which is now only reception, and KP, which was the maximum security. There's pretty much PC, but those guys would go down into mediums because the medium security is integrated. But anyways, so I'm on my range, chilling. Me and my one homie are smoking, and I'm a guy that I had the Suboxone link, so I would smoke a lot. I would get a lot of weed because next to maybe cigarettes, Suboxone is the #1 commodity because people get sick from it. So they'll give you whatever, right? So I would always have a lot of weed, but I had this one dude on my range that was just a plain out mooch and would always want to smoke for free. And even if you said, hey man, I need you to bring $5 to the table, they'd come with $3.75. That's the kind of dude they were. So one day me and my homie and they were smoking a big head, and the man comes in the washroom, yo, can I live? And I said, bro, I ask you to bring $5 to the table, you bring $3.75. This ain't gonna cut it, this ain't gonna hack it. Beat it. And when he walked out, he said, I guess I'm waste. But what I originally heard was wait. So I ran out in the hallway and said, what are you trying to say? And he came running back, got right up in my face and said, what, you think I'm scared of you, bro? And I said, bing, bing. And he immediately turned and ran. So automatically I assumed that he was going to be running for some kind of weapon. And man, was I right, because he ran through the kitchen doors and immediately ran for the frying pans. So I'm like, damn, if I don't chase after this dude and get on top of him quick, and he's able to use that frying pan, I'm going to get hurt. So I ran after him, chased after him, jumped on his back, grabbed on his arm. He had already grabbed onto the frying pan. Thank God it wasn't a cast iron, but still, it's a frying pan. He's wrestling from me, right? I have his arm like this, and he's this fairly strong dude. So he breaks away from me and swings it back, and boom, hits me right in my face. Gives me instantaneously this huge goose egg, which was not cool. Really kind of upset me. But I was in a place where I had to fend for my life, because if he broke away from me, I'm getting hurt, okay? So after he hits me, I grab back onto his arm. He's fighting again. What I didn't realize, though, is the first time when he hit me, the impact was so hard that the handle had been fractured. So the second time when he broke away and swung it back, I dodged it, and the force snapped the handle, and the metal piece went bing, 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 bing across the range. And the way that it's set up is there's no guards. There's a camera in the corner, camera over here, but there's no constant supervision. So if we're fighting on the range and they don't hear anything, they won't think to look at the cameras and they won't come. So we're finally, that thing breaks off and I'm like, nice. Now I can cook this guy because I know he can't fight me. He's let me know that by running, okay? So I start peppering this dude and we're in the kitchen and it's like a square, but with one side, he's trapped in there and I got cocky. Now this is where I made the mistake. You always have to, I've said this in videos in the past, you always have to be aware of your surroundings because anything could happen. And what I didn't realize was, as I'm sitting there peppering him, taking advantage of him, there's a butcher knife on the wall above the sink so people can cut their vegetables and stuff, but it only has like a 2 or 3 foot, maybe a 3-foot cord, which is metal, but you know, if you really wanted to, you could get it off, but it's a deterrent anyways. I didn't realize that he was within reach of that because I wasn't thinking. I was just, you know, I smelt blood. And I was trying to destroy him. You know, he had really upset me because he was trying to use a weapon. So at this point, it was fair game and I was going to just cook him. But without realizing, my homie says to me, look out, and he takes this thing on the wall and swings it at me. Now I know he's not swinging at me because he wants to stab me. Because if he really wanted to stab me, he would have ripped it off the wall or snapped the blade and came after me and stabbed me. But that's not what he did. He was doing a defensive move. He didn't want to fight me because he knew he couldn't beat me, right? So at this point, I knew it was fear, but I'm obviously not going to run into a fight where the guy's holding a big shank. So I went behind the island and I just clowned him up, called him a goof, called him a bitch, a snitch, a rat, every word in the book, and left the ball in his court. You know, I figured he would probably snap it off and come after me, but he didn't. And at that point, I realized this is a dead issue. And most people would say, man, the guy, you got to get him. You got to get... Listen, I was already on my way to working towards getting my parole to go to Stonehenge, which was my #1 goal and the most important thing in my life in the last 5 years. It's pretty much how I learned to control my behavior. So that place was not something that I was really looking forward to giving up. And I knew that if I was going to take it to the next level, I'd have to stab him. And I'm not a stabber. Never was. Never carried a shank. Like in the pen, you have to have access to a shank because anybody could come try to kill you and you have to be able to defend yourself. But you can't carry them because if you give that energy, you will get that energy. And that's just facts. So I never carried a shank. So, you know, for me, I'm not going to murder somebody in prison. My brother's already doing double life. My parents already have that stress. He's been in since '96. I'm not trying to do that to my family a second time. And just honestly, I'm just not a killer. I'm not trying to take nobody's lives. I respect life more than that. So I decided that I was going to talk it out with him and see where we were going to take it. We're going to have a round 2. I told him, I'll give you a rematch anytime you want. No weapons, though. Like, why are you bringing weapons into a fight with no weapons? It's not like we're gang members trying to murder each other. You know, this is just a fight over over a joint. Like, I knew I couldn't take it out into the yard because if I took it into the yard, some of my homies would want to take it to the next place. And I don't want it to go there because a lot of them are doing major time. And, you know, it's just not worth it, right? If it's not a real threat on your life, then it ain't worth it. But I told the man, I said, bro, you're lucky. Like, I could very easily take this to the next place, and you know that. And I could have just decided to jump his ass in the washroom. He had no weapon. I could have cooked him. But I brought him in there and told him I wasn't going to do that, and we decided to talk it out. Now, if I saw the man on the road, would I do something about it? I don't know. You know, that's something I'd have to think about. It's a possibility. Now, if I saw him in the bucket or something, if I got arrested again, I saw him, I would definitely 100% handle that on site. You hit me with a weapon, man, when you didn't have to, and that ain't right. You know, and I don't respect that. If it's a one-on-one fight, keep it at that. Especially when you got up in my face. You could have just clarified what you said and we could have kept it moving. But you wanted to fight because you were pissed off. You just didn't want to get beat up. Anyways, the moral of the story is, man, be prepared for anything because even people that you think are cool with you could try to act up and act tough. The reality is I always helped this dude, gave him canteen, smoked him on weed for free, and he didn't appreciate nothing. So when he got cut off, he got mouthy. And when you get mouthy, you could get beat up. And I'm not tough. I'm not sitting here pretending to be tough. but I definitely will stand up for what I believe in. You have to have an opinion in prison. You have to stand for that. Your word is your bond, and that's the most important thing you've got. You have to let people know how important that is to you. Anyways, for future, anybody who might be looking at prison time, remember, stay fit, man. That's important. It could be your life. You got to keep yourself safe. That's number one most important thing. Anyways, hope you love the video. I love each and every one of you. Thank you for subscribing. Knock that subscribe button. Knock that bell notification button. Knock that like button. Please, let's get this movement going. I love you. Peace. At the new Matt Clark.